Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Alex. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is episode number 18, and today I'm with my co-host, Seth.
Hello. It's actually episode 18. We checked before this time.
Yeah, we counted. Like, literally 5 seconds ago I checked.
Yeah.
Didn't count.
Yeah, we were talking about what we should name the podcast because we haven't even had one. It
Yeah.
should be the We Can't Count podcast because we never know what fucking episode it is.
Yeah, I don't know why we never made a name for it. We were going to make one, but we just started off as just calling it NBA podcast
Right.
for people to, like, search that up.
Right, yeah.
Which
Someone
is-
search literal NBA podcast.
That would be it.
Yeah.
So it works. It's just...
Yeah. Showing
it
support.
would
If you
be cool
guys
if they
have
had
a
a name.
cool name for it or something, comment below.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Some people named theirs just after their name. Like, you know Zach Lowe?
Yeah.
Just the Zach Lowe podcast or the Woj
Just-
podcast.
Was it Zane Lowe?
Zach.
Which one are you talking about?
He's an ESPN guy.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking about the Apple Music guy, Zane Lowe.
Oh,
'Cause he has his own podcast.
I was just talking about like a basketball one, and like
okay.
the Woj pod. You know Woj, Adrian
pod.
Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a side
All
point.
praise Woj.
But yeah, if you guys have a name, drop it in the comments. But yeah, we also just hit 1,300 subscribers today,
It's pretty
which
cool.
came really fast. I'm pretty sure I was just thanking everybody for 1,000 like an episode or two ago.
Right, yeah.
So, channel's growing really fast. I can't wait to see what kind of opportunities come up,
yeah.
if they come up at all. You never
right,
know.
yeah. We're doing this for fun,
Yeah.
most of all, but, you know, we're seeing success with it, you know, that
Yeah.
keeps us going, that makes us want to keep recording these.
Yep. And my goal is to be like a radio show host talking about basketball or something. Just anything in sports media talking about basketball.
Right.
But yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitter at TheAlexNBA. Do you want to plug anything?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't have a mixtape or a book dropping, so
An album dropping.
yeah.
All right. What do you want to start with here? There's a lot to talk about.
Do you want to talk about Lakers being subpar?
Well, yeah, so we can start off with our second best team in the West, and we can kind of talk about all
Yeah.
those teams.
We'll just talk about the West in
Yeah,
general.
okay.
But we'll come up to who's the second best in the West.
Sure. All right, so what's your take on the Lakers right now? After
Lakers.
barely beating the Timberwolves last night.
Duty. Straight Garbu.
I don't think they're straight Garbo.
They're not as good as they should be.
They're not.
That's
I can
that's the
agree
thing
with
that
that.
makes me mad is that it should be like, you know, dunk, ridiculous. And it is, but it's all offense. There's no defense.
True.
There's like very little defense. They
Mhm.
get on the fast break and they can tear you down with that. But if you only have one strength, you stop that. Can't really go anywhere else
Yeah.
with that. And they have all these tools to where they could be very versatile as a team, but they're
Mhm.
not really using them properly, I don't think.
I see what you're saying. I get you. I just think it's still early, and, you know, they just added LeBron James, so that's a completely different dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not going to happen right away. But I'm also thinking,
Yeah, I
you
didn't
know,
expect.
you can only say that for so long
Yeah, that's
until
the thing.
missing the playoffs is a real possibility.
Right, we're not going to just give the team a pass.
Yeah, I think they're 4-5 right now, or 5-6, something like that. So they're almost at 500, but they gotta win more convincingly versus good teams for me to
Right.
really think they have a chance to
because
make it in the playoffs, at least to the second round or something.
D-Rose resurrecting for the
Yeah, they're
second
5-6.
time.
And the playoffs in the West are very strange. There's 3 playoff teams that I have in the playoffs that aren't in the top 8 right now.
Really.
But about D-Rose, he's really made a comeback, it seems. Like after the 50-point game, and he just had 7 threes last night, hit 2 threes to bring the score to within 1.
I
And then I think he
saw
got
this
fouled on
tweet.
the game winner.
I don't know when the last time you played 2K is, but have you ever seen the builds? Like, do you know what a build is for my player?
I think so, like the type of player you can
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Someone said D-Rose came back as a pure sharp. As a pure sharpshooter.
After hitting the 7
Yeah.
threes. That's pretty funny.
He revamped his game to a pure
Yeah.
sharpshooter.
So get this. The Clippers, the Grizzlies, and the Kings are all in the playoffs right now if they were to start today. And that means that the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Lakers, and the Rockets, and Minnesota are all out of the playoffs right now.
Right.
And this is the problem with the East, is somebody's got to miss it.
Right.
One of the, like, not somebody, like 2 or 3, playoff capable teams are going to have to miss the playoffs. And it's going to come down to, like, some teams might look back at this opening stretch and be like, damn, if we had just won 2 or 3 more of those games, we might have made the playoffs. Because it's really important how you start, end, and in the middle right now in the West, because one loss could mean difference from
you gotta
8
play
seed.
all 82 games like they're all this of same importance. You can't just kind of pick and choose which ones, unless you're certain players who can rest whenever you want to.
Yeah, you got to come out and be ready to play every night, because there's no easy team in the West aside from, like, Phoenix. Or
What do you think the
nobody,
worst
really.
team in the West is? That's a good question.
It's hard to say at Phoenix. That actually, it's not.
It's hard to say at Phoenix.
'Cause
it was so quick.
It was funny. I said it's hard to say, and then I jumped on an answer because
Right.
they're 2-8. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks are a somewhat decent team, and then Minnesota, Houston, LA, New Orleans, Utah, Sacramento, Memphis.
A team
Those,
just
they're
need-
all like okay teams. Like,
right.
I really like Utah. I just said I was more talking about Memphis and Sacramento as they're okay teams.
Right.
They're not like super lottery teams.
No.
I don't expect either of them to make the playoffs though.
Unless something crazy happens,
Do you want to look at the standings?
Yeah.
But I don't know. We were talking about the Rockets or the Lakers before, right? I just think they need a couple more weeks, and I think they'll finish around 45 to 50 wins, but that might not be enough to make the playoffs, to be honest with you. That's why it's going to be so crazy to see who misses it, because 2 or 3 of those teams are going to have to miss it. Like between, like I didn't have San Antonio making it, but DeMar DeRozan has been playing like a god on San Antonio.
Him and Kawhi have been tearing it up
On their
in
respective teams, yeah.
on their respective
I think we
teams.
talked about that last podcast.
Yeah,
but
we talked about how well they're doing.
yeah,
and
like
their
this
new
trade
rules.
really worked out for both of them really well.
And that still makes me so happy to see.
Yeah,
because
it's rare you see a trade
if
like
one
that.
just excelled and the other one just fell flat on his face,
Yeah.
that would suck to
That's
watch.
what I expected to happen with DeMar. I expected him to kind of fall flat, but
Because we
he's
saw
solid.
that in preseason. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was breaking shots. He
Wasn't
wasn't
playing well.
comfortable.
All of a sudden, regular season starts, he's a beast,
Right, he's
and
balling out.
he's always been good. It's just,
turns into a point guard.
Yeah,
out of
I read this article. Yeah, he did turn into a point guard essentially. I read this article that said that at first, like, it took him a minute to like appreciate San Antonio culture, and the fans made him feel really appreciated, and it just took him a second to get used to the change, both in system and location. But now that he's figured it out, he's good. So I had them missing it, but it looks like they're gonna make it. Like I would bet on them making it. So between like the Lakers, the Pelicans, Clippers, I don't expect them to make it, but you could even throw the Blazers in it. But the Blazers actually look really good this season. Somebody, like I said, I keep saying somebody's not gonna make it. A couple of people aren't gonna. A couple of teams aren't gonna make it, and that sucks.
Blazers are looking really good this season.
Yeah.
Denver's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio Clippers took me by surprise because I tried to talk them earlier, and you were like, "They've got some pieces."
That's what I was saying,
I
right?
was just laughing at you.
Yeah, they do have some quality players,
Yeah,
and if
I
they
can admit when I'm wrong, but I just didn't expect
Yeah.
the chemistry to be that cohesive.
Yeah, and if they can get, a couple of, they have space for 2 free agents this offseason. So if they can get, I meant 2 max contracts. So if they can get 1 or 2 all-star to borderline all-star players,
John Wall to Clippers? Question mark.
they might be able to get like KD and Kawhi or Clay or somebody. I don't know who they're going to end up
Right.
getting. The Lakers also have space, so it's crazy what's going to happen. The Clippers could become contenders if they make the right signings.
This is its own topic, but I think we're kind of entering an era where there's no such thing as team loyalty. Not completely,
Yeah.
but there's less of a stinginess about it. And, we saw with the Kawhi and DeMar DeRozan trade, there's, as far as managers and stuff concerned, they don't think about it.
Yeah,
I don't care, it's business.
Yeah, the organizations aren't loyal to the players. Like, the players are loyal to the franchise or to the organizations. So you're right. It's becoming where there's not that kind of loyalty. It's a one-way street sometimes.
Right.
Like you just said with the Kawhi and DeRozan thing.
Atlanta is better than Washington, and Orlando is better than New York, than the Knicks, the Hawks, Bulls, Wizards, and the Cavs. I don't know what the fuck to make of like all of these.
It's still really early, and nothing is set yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like once we're about halfway through the season, the standings will start to look more like what they're gonna look like, at the end of the season. But I don't even want to give the Wizards the light of day right now. They don't deserve it.
They don't deserve words.
Like, I'll say this. I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. We talked about this the last podcast, and nothing has changed. They got blown out by the Thunder at home. They just have no chemistry. It's just nothing is... Whatever's working... whatever they're doing, they got to change something because nothing's working. Right. They gotta make some trades. They got to get some people out of there. Figure out where the root of the problem is. And I still don't even know what the problem is.
Right, and I'm sure they're hiding it from people because they don't want it to be a huge news story.
Yeah, something's gonna come out soon.
Imagine if it's like one like bench player who's just like terrorizing the team.
Like, if you guys don't get me 10 shots per game, I'm gonna kill your families or something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Biggest scandal.
Right, but I fully expect the Jazz to make the playoffs. They're just not playing well right now. I kind of expect New Orleans to make it because they've got a top 5 player in Anthony Davis. Houston better make it.
New Orleans is a dark horse for sure, wild card type.
Yeah, they're one of those like 6, 7, 8 type of teams. But really, these are all the teams that could make the playoffs. That will make the playoffs / can. Golden State, Denver, Portland, San Antonio, Clippers, OKC, Utah, New Orleans, Lakers, Rockets, Minnesota, Timberwolves. That's 11 teams. 3 of them aren't going to make it.
Yeah.
Which ones don't make it? I'll say Golden State and Denver are a lock.
I wouldn't say Denver's a lock.
You wouldn't say they're a lock?
No, because that's the thing.
I can't really say anybody's a lock besides Golden State now that I think about it.
Right. Golden State's a given.
Mm-hmm. I would say Houston should be a lock.
They should be, but
Lakers should be with LeBron. But it's kind of hard to say anybody's a lock besides Golden State.
That's the thing with the status of all these teams right now. It's like, well, they should be. Well, they should be. Everything's kind of out of whack right now.
Yeah.
Nothing is as we expected.
Could you imagine if KD and Steph both played for an Eastern Conference team? Like, how much more you would have no idea who would be coming out of the West.
Right, yeah. And that's been a huge issue.
Yeah.
Past few years. West is stacked,
Yeah. I love the parity that's in the West right now, though, because aside from Golden State, all those teams are a toss-up between somebody, like 3 people can't make it. So
right, yeah.
I keep referring to the teams as people, but 3 teams can't make it, that's crazy to me. But if you look at the East, I mean, to me, the only team that doesn't belong in here is Charlotte.
Right.
I feel like the Wizards should be replacing them, but at this rate, Charlotte might make it over them.
Fuck it, why not?
Because the 9 through 15 right now is Brooklyn, Orlando, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Washington, Cleveland. Those are all not playoff teams except for Washington. So I feel like they should be where Charlotte is.
Yeah, and again, they should be.
They
should be here. They shouldn't be playing like trash.
Yeah, like talent-wise, on paper, they look like a really good team.
Right.
Just, I don't know what the hell is not working. It's crazy to me.
Maybe it'll be kind of like a Celtics scenario, because like the start of the Celtics season, it wasn't rough, but like you could see there was just like some blunders here and there.
Yeah,
Chemistry wasn't the best.
They were trying to figure out.
I think Tatum was the only one who like came in where he left off from the playoffs.
But now Kyrie is back.
Kyrie just turned the switch.
Yeah, it was weird. He just randomly flipped it one day, and all this next game, all of a sudden he's going off.
Well, it's because the fro.
Oh yeah, shave the afro. Right, we talked about that.
Drop the top, Kyrie.
So I think the Celtics are going to be right up there with Toronto by the end of the season, and right up there with Milwaukee has really, like I said, I thought they would take the next step this season. It looks like they have. Did I say Toronto or Milwaukee? I meant to say Milwaukee. Either way.
Did I say that thing about like if if Kyrie just like waxed the top of his head, he dropped 50.
You did. Like bald Kyrie. How many points would he drop?
Like straight bald, waxed, no eyebrows. Kyrie would drop 50 every night.
Hairless body Kyrie.
Absolutely no friction with the air, just gliding.
That's hilarious. So who's your pick for the second best team in the West?
I gotta see these standings.
You can look
again.
at the standings.
Are we talking about right now, or do you think like in the
just right now?
right now?
Mine right
because
now.
If we're going long term season, who you think is going to be second best?
Who do you think will make the Western Conference Finals?
Right. Yeah.
Well, right now my pick is Denver, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
They're a really deep team. Actually, they're pretty deep. They have a great system. They're really well coached. They've got really talented players. Like Jamal Murray the other night had 48 points. He was going off, dude. That was such a crazy game against a great team like the Celtics. They beat the Celtics. They've beaten the Warriors. Arguably two best teams in their conference. You can argue Toronto.
That's a lot of momentum for the Nuggets.
They're really good. The only problem I have right now is Jokic. The past couple games has averaged like 4 shots a game.
Right. He's not.
He lost his aggressiveness, and I don't know why or for what reason. He just hasn't been shooting.
I don't
like
know.
In the past couple
it
games.
might not be him. It might be coaching.
No. It can't be coaching because even their coach said he's our guy. He's got to be more aggressive. So it wasn't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I try not to put 100% blame on the players. Because there's multiple outside things that we don't account for sometimes.
Yeah. But the offense does run through him. Like he's the man on the Nuggets team.
Right, yeah, and he
initiates everything.
He shows he has great vision, great passing ability. He can see over the defense super well because he's huge.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what's been up with him the past couple games. Maybe he's just going through something personal. You never know.
Right.
So I think it'll be fine. But right now they're my pick as second best in the East or West. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna pick your favorite. I think Portland.
You think Portland's the second best?
I think the Trailblazers might have their year this year.
I think this is the year they maybe get to the second round and potentially.
I appreciate your realism.
Yeah, if this is definitely the year they win a playoff game, at least.
You mean a series? They win a playoff?
No, I mean a game.
Just a game.
Because they've gotten swept the past 2 years.
True.
They've got a pretty deep team. Like when I was looking at their offseason signings, Nick Stauskas and Seth Curry, I was like, what did they really do? And they let Ed Davis and Noah Vonleh go, but those guys couldn't shoot, and they replaced them with shooters. So what they've done is they've spaced the floor out more and taken pressure off Dame and CJ, and they've developed some of their young players like Zach Collins, who's turned into a pretty good defender and a capable scorer. And then on top of that, they've added bench scoring. So factor all that in, and that's the reason they're 8-3.
Right. If Seth Curry can just channel his brother,
can you imagine
for some
that?
Nights. I know Steph was in the crowd one night at one of his games.
Yeah, that was against the Lakers a couple days ago.
Could you imagine being LeBron just like in the game, and you're like just kind of looking up at the stands, guys in the stadium. You see just Steph in a hoodie eating popcorn.
see the man who beat you in the finals 3 times.
I'd be
your arch nemesis with a baby face.
And he's laughing, he's yucking it up, and you're just like,
he's stuck with the shitty Lakers team.
Baby face.
I think the Lakers, for the record, I think the Lakers have the potential to be really good. I was just making a joke.
No, yeah. But that's the thing. It's just potential right now. It's not translating.
Yeah, but I like your pick. It's just I don't know if that'll hold. I think they can win more than 50 games this year, and maybe they will solidify themselves as the 2 seed, or get the 3 seed again. You never know with how crazy the West is.
Right.
Like we've been talking about. So, your pick is Portland. My pick is Denver. So who do you have in the Western Conference Finals then? Well, I assume Warriors versus somebody.
Warriors versus.
And plus, the Rockets are starting to play a little bit better.
They are doing a little bit better.
I
do want to see a rematch of Houston and Golden State.
In the long run, I think it's going to be another Western Conference Finals rematch between Warriors and Rockets. But if
everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
Carmelo's in there.
Eesh.
I mean, I'm not sure he's going to make a difference at all. Fuck it. But,
And they have no defense. I don't think it'll be a long series. It'll be at most 6. I'd probably say Warriors in 5 or 6 in the Western Conference Finals. Because Steph has gotten better, even.
Right.
I don't know. If it were to start today, the Rockets wouldn't even be in the playoffs, and I would say it would be Denver Warriors.
Right.
If the Rockets continue to play like they're playing, because they got worse. I mean, they still have Harden and CP3 and Capella.
But we talked about
PJ
this
Tucker.
when these trades were made with Ariza and PJ.
It
PJ Tucker's still
It
there.
was Ariza and Luke Mbamute. They let them both walk.
It was Mbamute. Yeah.
They both signed elsewhere. I don't even know who Luke Mbamute plays for right now, to be honest with you.
No, he plays for the Clippers.
He's back on the Clippers? He played for them before the Rockets? Am I tripping? I think he came over in the Chris Paul deal.
I gotta see this. No, I swear to God, I saw recent footage.
Let me look this up.
I feel really
Who
bad.
does Luke Mbamute play for?
Luke Richard.
You're right.
Oh!
I think he went back to the Clippers then, because I'm pretty sure he was traded for Chris Paul. Or they traded him to the Rockets along.
It was like a package deal.
Am I tripping?
I don't know. Are
Hold
you
on.
tripping?
I think so. Hold on. let me see this.
Because I don't know that much about Luke Mbamute's previous team.
I'm pretty sure he
history,
played
but
for the Clippers before the Rockets.
Okay, I don't know.
Let me look this up. But would that make any sense? No, it wouldn't. Am I tripping? Hold on. Rockets, Clippers, Chris Paul trade. Let me see the details of it. Okay, so they traded Chris Paul. The Los Angeles Clippers traded Chris Paul to the Rockets for Patrick Beverley, Sam Dekker, and Lou Williams. Okay, so I guess Luke Mbamute was already there. I knew he played. I thought he played for the Clippers right now, but who did he play for before the Rockets? I thought it was the Clippers.
We'll look up his.
I'm looking up his stats right now, and it'll tell me the teams he's been on. Yeah, he did play for the Clippers in 2016, 2017, 2015, 2016. So he was there before he came to the Rockets for that one
so
season.
he just went Clippers,
Okay.
Rockets, Clippers.
So I'm not. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not tripping.
So there was just like a weird
Yeah.
team switch up.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I was tripping. I'm not. All right. What were we even talking about? Like, why? What was the? What was the? Luke?
No,
Oh,
we were
'cause
talking about
the
Rockets.
Rockets. Yeah. I think they took a step back by losing those two 3-and-D guys in Ariza and Luke. And then, of course, they lost their defensive coordinator who's coming back. And they say it's not because of their poor start.
That's total.
It's totally because
Bologna.
it's totally because of the poor
Oh
start.
yeah, it's totally because it's
And
not good start.
I don't know if you can make bad defenders play the good defense.
You
Especially in an
can. You can
offensive-oriented
only,
team.
patch it up as
You
much
can
as
try.
You can.
I just don't think it's gonna. I think the Rockets are gonna be somewhere between 3-5 or 3-6.
Right.
As far
It'll
as the
be
standings
subtle
go.
improvements as we go along the year, but I don't think they're going to become.
I think they'll still win 50
Their
games.
defense won't be as good as as it was last year.
Yeah, I still think they'll win somewhere between 50 and 56-ish games. They're just not going to be as good as they were last year.
You know, not to discredit, Clint Capella and his defensive abilities, and Chris Paul is a great defender.
Chris Paul's
as
a
well.
good defender too, yeah.
But it can't just be them out there. you
Yeah,
know?
the whole team has to play defense.
Right.
Oh, man. But especially in the West, you're not going to be able to stop those guards like Steph Curry and Westbrook and Dame Lillard.
Right.
Those guys are unstoppable.
It's just
The only time Dame Lillard has been stopped was versus the Pelicans last year. And that really tugged at my heart. Like, it broke my heart. Not really. I was just pissed. I beat up that pillow right there after they lost game 1. Anyway, so
Game two.
so
Game
Jeff
three.
Bzdelik literally unretired to come back and help this Rockets team.
Can you imagine that? You're like trying to retire and like, please, we need you. We suck.
Apparently, he was having like off-court family issues that he had to like
Oh,
fix
man.
up and patch up.
Well,
so
then,
yeah,
no
but-
disrespect to him.
yeah, but now he's back. So
Well, I hope everything's resolved. I hope
yeah,
he's doing all right.
yeah, me too. All right, so we talked about Jokic. Let's go back to him. He got fined for saying no homo. He got fined $25,000 for that, for saying that in a post-game interview.
Oh, no homo.
Oh yeah, if you look up the interview and watch how he said it, it was really strange. His mouth was
Right.
like twisted, and he was like, "No homo." I
It's
don't
like
know,
he
it was
realized
so-
he shouldn't be saying it as he was saying it.
It was so weird. But the context was that they asked him like what the matchup was like against Wendell Carter Jr. of the Bulls, and he's like no homo, but he's longer than you expect.
Right.
And it was funny, but he didn't even like crack a smile when he said it. So
right, he did it so matter of factly.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like he told a joke. It was just
yeah.
like, oh, no homo, but he's longer than you expect. Just going through like a normal interview.
Yeah, somebody made the comment that English isn't his first language, so maybe he was like he didn't quite
Learned
realize
it from the wrong people.
why it might be offensive, I guess. Or maybe somebody like
I
told him to
don't
say
think
it.
that's
I
an
don't know.
excuse.
I don't either. I mean, he knew what he was saying.
He seems to have a decent grasp on the English language.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a funny.
To know, I say no homo. I think you know English pretty well.
This is one of my favorite things to happen this season so far because
It's pretty great.
It's like the J.R. Smith soup thing. It's just one of those off-court memes that are like things
Right,
that
it's
happen
just
that
one
are
of those
really
weird
funny.
things.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like makes NBA Twitter what it is.
Exactly. Another player who was fined was Kyrie Irving was fined also $25,000 for throwing the basketball
I'm ready to talk about this.
into the stands after Jamal Murray tried to get 50 on a last-second three ball,
Right.
even though they'd already secured the win. There was no shot clock. So let me ask you. We talked about Jamal Murray's 48 points. That was insane. Making every shot, tough shot, easy
Tough
shot,
shots.
anything. Yeah, they were like towards the end they were all super contested and just
Right, you
ridiculous
talk about
shots.
feeding the hot hand. He just could not miss.
He was on fire, dude. Jamal Murray's really good.
He
I
is
like him.
really good. He's really quick. He's a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
He's, his defense could use a lot of work. But
Yeah.
if he can work on that and improve that while improving his game in general, he can be one of the best guards in the league.
Eventually,
he's really
one day.
good.
Yeah, I think he's on his way to get there, and that's another reason I like Denver a lot is because of that backcourt. Him and Gary Harris, they're really good. So anyway,
Is Will Barton still with the Nuggets?
yes, he's there. He played one. I think he's only played 1 or 2 games, but
Right.
he's back now. He was injured,
Okay. Thought
but yes,
so.
he signed there this offseason, secured the bag. So-
secured that bag.
So let me ask you, if
All
your
right.
team has secured the win, or if a team has secured the win, there's no shot clock. You can just dribble the ball out, but you really want to get 50.
Mhm.
Are you shooting the ball?
I'm
Or
shooting the ball.
what's your opinion on if somebody shoots the ball to try to get that 40 or 50 mark that they're chasing?
You have every right to, but someone can swing on you. You
Yeah.
have every right to do it. You beat the team. Do what you want. I don't see the point in getting mad after the fact.
Yeah, because I
It's
agree.
like, why are you
For me, it's a slippery slope because there's that, like, don't let them get that many points on you in the first place if you don't want them shooting that shot.
right? Like, where's that fire and intensity when
but
it
then
mattered?
Exactly. But then it's also kind of an unspoken rule, like, don't run up the score if you've already won.
Yeah.
There's no shot. Like, you've already secured the win. You don't need to make the score any higher.
No,
So it's kind of like
But for me,
It
it's
can go
not
both
even
ways.
like a toss-up for me because unwritten rules have like screwed over people for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you watch the Braves much.
No, I don't watch
Okay,
much
well,
anything other than basketball.
I'm turning this into a baseball just because it's a good example.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this superstar young talent named Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm sure you've heard about him.
I actually haven't, surprisingly.
Look up clips of him. He's great. He hits a lot of homers. He hit a lot of leadoff homers because he was leadoff at bat.
Right.
Anyways, he was just crushing the ball. He was on a crazy streak, and it's one of those unwritten rules to like shave the hitter off or whatever. Like brush him off.
What does that mean?
That means basically throw a ball near him to like scare him off the plate and rattle him.
Okay.
And one of the pitches, I think it was the Pirates, just straight up nailed him.
Oh.
Just like first pitch.
Jeez.
First pitch of the damn game.
Really?
Because he like hit a leadoff home run the
Oh
game
my
before.
god.
Like there's with
I
these
know that
unwritten
hurts a
rules of
lot.
like that's not respectful. This blah, blah, blah. It
Yeah.
just seems like a very old mentality
I
to hang
guess.
on to. I get why it doesn't make sense to like keep running up the score. But just like for me, it's. I thought it was corny for Jamal Murray to try and get in the 50. He kept trying for it. I'm
thought
like,
it was
don't force it.
Yeah,
Just
I thought it was
be-
kind of whack to shoot that last shot.
No, yeah. But like I said, he has every right to do
Yeah,
it
I mean,
because his team won. He won essentially because he went off.
Yeah, they won.
Okay,
they're a great
but
team, but yeah, of course, a player goes off, you know, it helps the
right.
team win. Of
No,
course,
I'm
you're
not
right.
saying the team didn't do anything. I'm just saying like he was the main contributor
Yeah.
to that victory.
No, of course. I think that was one of the games where Jokic only shot like 5 or 6 shots. Oh, I just hit the mic. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
I can't wait to see how that plays back.
yo, me too. But no, you're right. I got you.
No, yeah, and that's another thing we can talk about Jokic is just his lack of aggressiveness.
We did.
We talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
But I think we did. We said like the offense runs through him. He's got to be more aggressive. We touched on it a little bit. I don't-
Sorry, guys. Sometimes no, we still talk about like basketball outside of stuff. Like Alex will text me during games. You know.
Yeah.
We'll be watching certain games at the same time. You
Mm-hmm.
know. And so it's not just like we just express every single thought and hold it in for about a week.
Yeah.
And then let it all go during the podcast. Like we talk about this stuff. You know. When we're
Yeah,
not
I'm
recording.
always talking basketball with whoever, whether it's you or Nathan or myself. No, I'm just
Right,
kidding.
because we're into it. We're huge fans of the
Exactly,
of the
exactly.
NBA in general. So that's just
Sometimes it's hard to remember if we mentioned something or not.
right. If we mention it on a podcast or just like in a conversation, because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we do. We just like talking
Always
about
talking about it,
basketball. And we just
exactly.
record ourselves while we do it.
Yep, for sure. So, back to the Kyrie 48 thing, or
All right.
throwing the ball.
Did
into
you
this
want me
thing.
to touch on like Kyrie's reaction and is it valid and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that?
I had something else to say about the. Oh yeah, that's what it was. So, this day and age, players aren't going to really get mad at you. Like they might like come up to you and confront you, but you're not going to get swung on. Like
no.
like Dennis Scott, who was a player back in the day, he was saying like he's lucky he didn't do that in my era because that would have been a fade basically. But no, that's not going to happen these days because players don't want to get in trouble, and plus, you know, it's not the tough guy era anymore. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So well,
What
some
was that
players
one
are.
clip? It was it was Charles Barkley and Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley said he was trying to pull Larry Bird away from the fight, but he just held his arms back while his teammate was just wailing on him.
No way.
Look that shit up. It's really funny.
Oh my god. I don't know a whole lot about like Charles Barkley played in like the 90s. I don't know a whole lot about like from the late 90s back. So I haven't really seen that, but there's
No, yeah.
I've seen
I
some
just
clips
watch
from back in the-
documentaries and
Yeah,
little
yeah.
docuseries stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's hilarious.
I saw that.
though.
and it was-
That happened, like for real.
Oh my god, it's so funny. If
Just
we
held his
can,
arms
if you
behind
can
him.
pull up a clip of that and play it during that segment, because God, it's the funniest shit. Larry Bird's just getting knocked. He's,
Oh
get-
my-
he's like taking. He took like 5 punches before like people got in.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Holding his arms behind him so he couldn't
Straight-
defend
no, yeah,
himself.
he-
Oh my.
That's what it looked like.
That's
But Charles
crime.
Barkley was saying he was like, I was trying to get him away from the fight.
That's straight crime, dude. Like that's
Dude, no,
That's
it looked like he got mugged. It
That's
looked like Larry Bird
sabotage.
got mugged during a game.
Oh my god. I have not seen that clip. That's so
That's
funny.
when these older players talk about it, like, man, they don't know what it's like. It's weak, you know. That's what they mean.
That's so
'Cause they
funny.
used to brawl.
Yeah. Oh, like I've seen the Shaq and like Charles, fights or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious though.
Never really landed a hit on each other, did they?
They were like
They just-
headlocking each other.
Yeah,
at
they
one
just
point.
wrestled. They
Yeah.
never really hit each
and
other.
now they're co-hosts together on
Right.
TNT.
They still like hate each other.
Yeah, they
That's why they
still-
put themselves at the opposite ends of the table.
They're always going back and forth. Oh, it's so funny. I love it.
It's like, you don't have a ring. Yeah, well, you're fat. And then
The analysis sucks, but the humor and the back and forth is entertaining.
Right. I don't come to Shaq for my analytics.
Oh
but-
no! Nobody watches the TNT halftime or pregame for their analysis.
I don't look for Shaq's advice for maybe big men, but even that, it's like you just used your
Yeah.
body. It wasn't much brain. It was all brawn.
Right. So what's your reaction to Kyrie Irving throwing the ball in the stands? He said after a bullshit move like that, the ball deserves to go into the stands. What do you think of that? Like he was
Kyrie
real
is-
upset about it.
Yeah, he was butthurt about it because his team lost.
Right.
And who wouldn't be when their team loses and someone's like, "Oh, over 50, boo!"
Right.
Launch up one.
Yeah, it was a deep three that he shot.
No, yeah, he's digging around.
Yeah. That's not the first time he's done something to upset another team.
No, yeah, I can
He-
tell
he-
he's
he-
got a bit of an ego.
Yeah, Jamal Murray. He was like they had beaten the Lakers last season, I think it was, and yeah, it was last season. And he dribbles up to Lonzo Ball and like throws the ball around him, and then catches the dribble again, like as the clock is winding down, and then like a couple of the Lakers guys like went up right into his face and like were like, you don't do that shit. So he didn't even shoot the ball. He just did the little antic at the end of the game.
Right.
So doing stuff like that is unnecessary. I'd say once you cross the half court line and there's no shot clock and you've already secured the game, just pick up the ball and hold it.
I mean, yeah, I would do that. I think from both sides there's kind of an immaturity to take that shot.
Yeah.
To
You're upset that you lost and you don't want people running up this. Yeah.
But it's also immature to be like, that's a bullshit move. We don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. That's not a rule. It might be an unwritten rule, but you don't control that.
That's true. Yeah.
You can be upset about it.
There's an argument for both ways.
But you can't just be like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
He can do it if he wants.
Yeah, I mean, they have the right to. It's not like they're going to get punished for it. You just might get a bad reputation. Because Jamal Murray,
at the end of the day, it's like, wow, Jamal Murray looks like a real dick for taking that shot. Mm-hmm. Most of the bad publicity's on him, but since Kyrie was like, and got mad afterwards,
Did you see the ball when it hit the stand? Like, it flew. Like, he tossed that way up.
No, yeah, he hurled that shit.
I wonder if anybody got to keep it.
That would be cool. Kyrie's rage ball.
the ball Jamal Murray dropped 48 with, and then Kyrie threw.
That would be a pretty cool anecdote for like a little, I don't know.
Somebody like this. You see this ball here, Sonny? This was back in 2018 when this happened. Yeah.
Shut up.
Like, yeah, okay.
Shut up, Grandpa.
Shut up, Grandpa. You don't know anything. Old head. Speaking of Kyrie, did you see some of the dribble moves he did in that game?
I didn't see.
Like he hit it off his knee and like did a sham god almost type thing. He's nasty now. He got his swag back. He got his sauce back. Whatever he was missing,
it was
back.
The fro. He just
it was the
fro.
fro.
The top.
Couple more things here. The Raptors are apparently resting Kawhi Leonard on back-to-backs, like both ends of the back-to-backs. So he's not going to play any back-to-backs apparently for a while. What do you think of that?
I would be upset about it if their record was bad, but since they're doing so
they can win without him, as they've shown.
And they're winning without him. Why the hell not? When you're in a place like that, that's fine. As far as like fans and like ticket sales, and you want to see your favorite players, and I'm sure if you're a Raptors fan, you want to come see. I mean, originally you wanted to see DeMar DeRozan, but Kawhi's the big star there now. And God, we watch his game on just highlights on YouTube and we're amazed. I can't imagine seeing that in real life.
Yeah. If you're a Raptors fan, don't buy tickets for Raptors back-to-backs, the front end or the back end, because you're not going to see Kawhi.
Right. Yeah.
If you're any fan, if the Raptors are coming to your city for a back-to-back, don't.
And some people don't know that. Sometimes the news pops up late. It's like, oh, Kawhi's not going to be in this game.
One time I bought tickets to go watch Damian Lillard play the Hawks, and
he was out.
He was injured for a couple games before that, but the day before the day I bought the tickets, he said, or the day before I bought the tickets, it was like he was targeting Atlanta for his return to the court. So I was like, all right, bet, I'll buy the tickets. Didn't hear anything about it.
Of course.
And then I get there and I'm like checking social media, like waiting for an update to see if Dame is in or out. Wasted $200. He was out.
Damn.
And then they got blown out by the Hawks. So I was
at least the Hawks won.
Yeah, that was before. I mean, John Collins was cool to see in his rookie season, I guess, and I got to see like C.J. McCollum play and whatnot. But
yeah, it's not what I paid for.
Exactly. So, lesson learned.
Right. Just be smart when you're buying your tickets.
Yeah. That's
why I talked to Alex earlier about. This is just a suggestion. Do you mind if I talk about the injury thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if people, they do a lot of research and then they listen to this podcast. I don't know if they use this as like a news source for stuff, but
that'd be cool.
Right, that would be cool. And if we can
Everything
make that happen. But
just kidding.
What I wanted to do was somewhat of an injury report on these players, not all players, but major key role players.
Any key injuries we'll obviously talk about.
Right, and we do talk about that, but just like make it its own segment. It's like, all right, injury report. What's wrong with Fultz?
Yeah.
He still hasn't. Whatever,
That's a good idea.
you know.
So we'll start doing that. But right now, I don't think there's any huge injuries.
Not right now.
We just mentioned the Kawhi thing.
Yeah. It's not even like an injury. It's just kind of like him.
Russ missed the... He like tweaked his ankle and
Yeah, I saw that.
missed the game against the Cavs, but I think he's coming back tonight.
Okay.
I think that's the plan.
What games are coming on tonight? I don't even know.
Actually,
Shows what I
no.
know.
Westbrook is out versus the Rockets tonight. I just got the alert. It's Thunder and Rockets, which I might watch. I don't know. I don't want to watch it now.
What, that Westbrook's out?
Yeah, because
I'll still watch it to see if the Rockets lose this game. Time to start worrying.
Yeah, a little. And then the Bucks and Warriors play at 10:30. I'm gonna watch that game. I mean,
That one's
two of the best teams in both
gonna
conferences.
be really interesting.
I'm
I
excited
can't
for
wait
that
to see
one.
that.
I'm excited for that one. They're coming off a loss to the Trailblazers, which was a big win for the Trailblazers, beating, arguably one of the best teams in the East. So, speaking of the East, let's talk about the 76ers. We kind of touched on it, the Marco Bellinelli thing. I don't know if we were recording the podcast or if we were just talking when I said that. But
Right.
they didn't retain Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova, who were two key shooters off the bench for them. So I think they've taken a step back, or really they haven't gone forward or backwards, because they're getting a second year of Simmons and Embiid.
Yeah,
And Markel Fultz is okay.
They're kind of stagnant, and
Yeah.
by this time, through the off season, coaches have scouted it. Are like, okay, 76ers are a threat. Here's why. Ben Simmons has great vision. Joel Embiid's, post up nightmare, matchup nightmare. And then, the 76ers do have a lot of threatening, players, and they have a great system going right now. Not the best as it could be, not as great as it could be.
They're a good team, but they're not like...
That's the thing. They're a good team. They're not a great team.
Yeah,
They're a good team.
They'll probably get to the second round, but then they're going to get beat by either Toronto or
There
the
has
Celtics.
to be a move. There has to be a shift in the attitude, or something needs to change.
They got to sign more shooters. I think like the Blazers, that was their problem for the past couple seasons, is they've only had 2 or 3 shooters. They got to sign 2 or 3 more to space the floor.
Right. We talked about Seth Curry and all them.
Yeah.
For coming off the bench.
For Portland. So if the 76ers can sign 2 more shooters like they did last year, because they got Ersan and Marco Bellinelli in the buyout market. So if they can do something similar like that, that'll really help them, because that's what did it for them last year, put them over the top going into the playoffs. But they're still a good team. It's just I expected them to be a little bit better right now, because they're 6-0 at home and 1-5 on the road. They beat the Pacers last night, which was a big win for them. Because the Pacers, we've talked about the Pacers before. They're a really good team. But I don't necessarily know if that's going to change anything, because maybe it will. They beat a good team on the road. Maybe that'll carry over, and they'll be like, okay, this is our identity. I just think it's still early season, and they're trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I just hope there's a shift or something clicks before we get into the meat of the season, because like we talked about, these beginning games might not seem important to some people, but they really are.
Especially
once you start getting into postseason play and talk, you look back on those early games like, damn, we could have won these.
That's
we
exactly
could have won
what I
this
was saying
stretch.
earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of similar with the East, but I think there's a little more room for error in the East than the West.
Yeah. East is.
But the Wizards really got to figure something out soon, or they could potentially miss the playoffs.
I thought we talked about not talking about the Wizards.
You're right. Forget the Wizards.
You're right. Team who shall not be named.
So All-Star Game is going to be televised this year, or not All-Star Game, All-Star Draft.
Yeah, All-Star
for the
Draft.
All-Star Game. Of course, the All-Star Game is going to be televised, but the draft.
This is like a kickball lineup picked live. It's going to be really.
It's
funny.
going to be so cool. It's probably going to be LeBron from the West, because it was LeBron and Steph last year, but it's the 2 top vote getters from each conference who are going to be the captains. Right. So it's probably going to be Giannis and LeBron. That's what I would think. Because Giannis was the second vote getter last year, and LeBron was the first in the East, and then Steph was the most in the West. But now that LeBron and Steph are in the same conference, they might get some.
I don't know.
They might. I don't know. They might get.
It
they
depends
might
on
steal
how
votes
each
from
team
each other.
does. I mean, Golden State's
True.
gonna.
Well, LeBron's gonna be an All-Star no matter what.
Right.
I don't know. It'll probably be a toss-up between him and Steph who comes out of the West, but it's definitely probably going to be Giannis from the East. So
that makes the most sense.
I can't wait to see them draft players. I want to know who goes last.
Everyone wants to know who goes
like
last.
how they take
Everyone, I've seen people talking about it. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who's going to be last.
And I want to
know
see
Al Horford.
it was Al Horford who was last year.
Oh, shit.
Him and LaMarcus Aldridge were the last picks because it got the order got leaked actually.
Really?
It did, yeah. That was long before we had the podcast though. But I can't wait to see like what pick my favorite players are.
Right.
And I'm also interested to see who is an all-star this year.
Right. You know, people, might not be so much, instant all-stars, but people, who have stepped their game up from last year.
Yeah.
People who were bench all-star can be starting.
Yeah, and I want to see how many all-stars the Celtics get and how many all-stars the Warriors get. I don't want Draymond Green to be an all-star this year because I think there's another player who's deserving, like Donovan Mitchell.
There's definitely more players who are deserving.
I just don't.
I think saying that Draymond Green doesn't deserve it because he definitely
he
does
deserves
for the
it.
work he does.
I just think that like you've been an all-star 2 or 3 times. Maybe it's time to let somebody else get it. Especially because he's not like a huge scorer. He's not like the flashiest player to watch.
Well, I think that comes back into what we were talking about. Is it about how good you are as a player or how like
what your role is on the team,
right?
What your impact.
Because you can
on
be
your team
great
is.
at your role, but you can only be this level of star talent.
Yeah.
Draymond's more stood out for his off the court stuff and his technicals.
Yeah, and his distributing ability and ability to score when needed and whatnot.
Right.
He's just, to me, he's kind of like an all-star who deserves it, but also at the same time, it's like maybe somebody else could replace him. I don't know.
Like we were talking about glue players. He is the glue.
He is a glue
that
guy
team.
for sure.
Because he's probably one of the oldest vets of that, like, who's stayed with the Warriors for that long.
Yeah, he was drafted there in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
He's been there for a while.
He talks about that all the time.
He can name everybody drafted before him, which is weird. It's not weird. It's just like
that's psychopathic tendencies.
It really is, right? Oh man.
I get it though, like gym training and just like every push up, name the next one. I can't think of names from that draft. I can't remember what year, but
that would be hilarious. Just rattling off players. James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, like whoever. I don't know when he was drafted.
Me. Finally gets to his spot. He just
That's hilarious.
Loses
man.
it.
That is so funny. I think there's only a couple more things on here. Okay, so let's touch on the Luke Walton Magic Johnson meeting, where apparently Woj tweeted that Magic Johnson yelled at Luke Walton and basically admonished him, saying, "If you don't improve soon, your job is going to be at stake." But then he went out and said,
"Oh, he's fine."
Yeah, he's. Oh, Luke, that's our guy, man. And he's like, but he did say he's going to finish out the rest of the season unless something drastic happens. And then that same night they got blown out.
Right.
Was that drastic enough? Like, Paul Pierce was saying he thinks he's safe for now, but if this keeps up and they miss the playoffs, or they're on pace to miss the playoffs, he's probably going to get fired.
I would hate to get fired by Magic Johnson. He seems like he would be scary.
I know.
Because I only see him smiling, and he only ever seems in a good mood.
Right.
Those are the people you'd hate to get angry, is those who.
But then he's really serious when it's time.
That's when you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna poop my pants.
I love Magic Johnson and his personality.
No, he's great. I love him.
Yeah.
It's just
you wouldn't want to make him mad.
Right. Imagine making a legendary basketball player upset and yelling at you. I just can't imagine.
So I think Luke Walton might end up losing his job if they're on pace to miss the playoffs.
Right.
But he said he's going to finish out the year unless something drastic happens, and then he added, which it won't. So this might be Luke's first and only year coaching LeBron. I feel like Mark Jackson could get the Lakers coaching job eventually, or Jason Kidd, which would be bad because Jason Kidd's not a good coach.
Kidd's not a good coach.
But that's a tweet I saw as names to watch out for if Luke does get fired.
Right.
Would be those two.
But just why Jason Kidd?
He couldn't coach the Bucks.
Right.
So why could he coach the Lakers?
Can't coach one of the most. I just don't get. Anyways, I don't want to get into the whole Milwaukee situation.
So the last thing here is Cavs veterans say Colin Sexton doesn't know how to play, and apparently Colin Sexton declined getting help from the vets.
It's because there's no help that he can get from them. They all suck.
And the Cavs as a whole, they're just. We said this last one. everything is fine dog meme,
Yeah.
House on Fire.
Mm.
They're one of the 3 organizations who are that meme.
For real. No, that's man. You still got. Dude, that clip will be played over and over again in
Which
Tristan
one?
Thompson's head. It's like,
Oh, you still gotta go through us? Oh God, that was the worst comment I've ever heard in my life. I'm pretty sure the Cavs are like 2-10 or something.
It's like he got that bag thanks to LeBron, and now he thinks
yeah,
he's
maybe they're
big
1-9.
shit.
Let me look at the Cavs record real quick.
They're like 1-10, or
I think they're the last team in the East.
they're the last team I checked. They're the last team.
Yeah, they're 1-10. That's funny. Still got to go through you, Tristan.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of easy since you're shorter than most centers, but
So they're trying to trade Corver and J.R. Smith. They got the whole Colin Sexton drama. They've got just bad culture, bad ownership. All of the Cleveland Cavaliers are just, it's not, something's got to give.
it's not gonna, explode immediately. It's going to slowly fall apart. We're gonna not pay attention to it for a while.
And you know all these issues existed when LeBron was there, minus the Sexton issue.
Yeah.
And that's crazy how he dragged that sorry-ass team to the finals.
God.
That's insane.
It was so crazy to watch him just chugging along just by himself.
Yeah, just willing that team. It was crazy. Oh, man. You got anything else?
No, just it's the right now it's the air. It's not the air. It's the moment in time where it's like we should be here. We shouldn't be doing this. It's time to make corrections.
Yeah, a lot of
These
teams are in that
need
boat.
to figure out, okay, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? Let's assess it and execute.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you're gonna say.
Side note, the Timberwolves need to trade Jimmy Butler immediately if they're going to, because this picking and choosing which games you want to play isn't working. Because the general soreness thing, he's sitting out whatever games, playing the national TV games. He's just picking and choosing what games he wants to play right now.
It's like that kid in gym who sometimes doesn't.
Yeah, and if
who sometimes stresses out.
Right. Oh, I'm not feeling well or whatever, right? They say it's because he's sore or whatever, but if they're going to trade him, they need to just hurry up and do it, or they just need to decide we're not going to trade you this season. You can go ahead and walk after this season or whatever.
Right.
Which would be a dumb move for them because they're not going to get anything in return. Either way, the Timberwolves are just, they've got issues because if he's going to play some games and not play some games, they're not going to be able to build, a consistent lineup and rotation that they can make the playoffs with and get comfortable with.
Right.
And that's the reason Karl Anthony Towns is struggling so hard.
This is the inverse of the Raptors situation.
Yeah, right?
Well, not complete
because they can't play well without their star.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling
Raptors can play well without their star. By the way,
so deep.
Did you ever hear about that comment Kawhi Leonard saying it's like I don't even think we're the best team yet. I'm still getting comfortable. He was just saying he was just settling in. He still doesn't think they're at 100%.
I didn't see that though.
I don't know where he said it, but I saw it on ESPN.
Huh.
It was some headline. I can't remember, but it was a very Kawhi thing to say.
Right.
It was well, they pay attention to those things when you're this level, elite level player. Or
right, I remember that. Yeah. Talking about his laugh. He's like, stop. But yeah, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's a character, man.
He's not a character. He's just a extremely athletic god with no personality.
Right. He's a
fun guy.
He's an anti-character. I'll say that.
He's an anti-personality.
I love Kawhi, man. Since that Rockets and Thunder game is kind of not as good as it could be now, I'm gonna see what other games are on. I might watch some other team play instead of that, and then I'll watch the Warriors and Bucks game. But that's gonna be it for today, fellas and ladies. Thank you guys for. Seth is cringing so hard. If I ever say that again, just unsubscribe.
Fellas and ladies.
Just kill me if I say that again. But thank you. Thank y'all for watching. We really appreciate it. Thanks again for 1,300 subscribers.
Yes,
can't wait.
Thank you.
Can't wait for more growth.
Keep going.
Keep sharing the videos and like and comment. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.